Hey everyone, Mo here, and before the video begins, I just want to let you guys know that my schedule has opened up for me to do coaching again. So if you're interested in private one-on-one coaching for me to help you, whether you're a newer player and you want to excel at the game very quickly and learn the fundamentals without developing any bad habits early, or if you're an experienced player who's already maybe platinum or diamond in your top 1%, but you need some help filling in the gap to get you to that 0.01%, to make you just some of the best, then hit me up on Discord and I can get you in some private one-on-one coaching lessons to help you polish up any skills you want to refine and help you learn all of the secrets to becoming a top player. That's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Hey everybody, Mo here, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Meta Monday, where I'll go over the top 8 most played decks in Masters, give you an idea of what's being played out there in Masters Ladder, what the most played decks are, and how they're performing, stuff of that nature. Before we get into this episode of Meta Monday, one is last week I didn't post Meta Monday, but instead I posted a 5 best decks to climb ladder with. The reason was because we are getting a really large patch like 2 days after that Meta Monday would have been posted, so it wouldn't have made much sense to post a Meta Monday. So instead I just gave you guys a 5 best decks to climb ladder with. And then 2 is we have had a very large patch since the last Meta Monday. This patch was absolutely huge, changed a bunch of champions, had a play or multiple gameplay changes where you can no longer burst pass. Burst pass is essentially taken out of the game, and then also they changed how play and cast work. So now anything that used to say you needed to cast a spell, like for instance Lux, you needed the 6 mana spell to resolve, you needed all 6 mana spells to resolve. With same with like Jayce, with Ezreal being the biggest offender of it. Now you just have to actually play the card, and once it targets, the abilities go off. So Ezreal will deal his 2 damage instantly at burst speed when his spells target. Same with like Lux will give you a laser, Jayce will automatically level up and double, stuff of that nature. So very exciting gameplay changes. Great. I'm nervous and excited to see how it actually changed the meta, if it changed the meta at all. I haven't actually looked at this top 8 yet, so we'll go ahead and see. Before we get into the meta, I just want to remind you guys that 70% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to me. So if you can do me a huge favor and actually click on that subscribe button, we're almost at 6,000 subs. That would be really, really cool. And then leave a comment letting me know what type of content you guys enjoy seeing and what you guys want to see in the future. So let's start by number 1, 2. It looks like it's all about the same. Oh no, there it changes. Okay, cool. So it looks like the top 4 decks here are about the same as they were in the last meta. So we have Mono Shurima coming at an 8% play rate. The play rate is lowered down significantly, and the win rate is a lot lower, down to 56%. I think Mono Shurima is one of the decks that got nerfed, but I don't think it's nerfed out of like playability. I definitely think the deck is still playable for sure. I think it's still really good. I don't just think it's not necessarily one of those like, oh, I won the game on turn 6. It's not a meta-defining deck anymore. It's definitely just a good deck that has good and bad matchups now, instead of being a, this deck is so broken, you have to either beat it or, you know, lose to it. And it's not like that anymore, which is really healthy. It makes the game a lot better. Number 2 is Caitlyn Ezreal. So I'm sure this has to do more with like the Caitlyn Ezreal, or the like gameplay change where Ezreal levels up now just off of targeting things. It doesn't need the spell to resolve, and then you deal damage instantly, which is, you know, pretty good. Caitlyn Ezreal is also really good into a lot of mid-range decks. You can remove a lot of things with your Static Shock, your traps, your Ravenous Flocks, your Scorched Earth, things like that. So because of that, Caitlyn Ezreal, very good choice. Very good choice. There's a lot of people were playing Yordle in Arms. This deck kind of beats that. Yordle in Arms fell out of favor. A lot of people playing more mid-range decks with Demacia, like Elise, got really big buffs. And previously, Tri-Beam decks have been really good into the mid-range decks, because you can just trade, you know, essentially 1 mana with Ravenous Flock to kill a 5-drop. So very, very good into those matchups. So if the meta does get to be super mid-range with the Ashe LeBlancs, the Elite, stuff like that, then Caitlyn Ezreal is definitely going to be the control deck in favor. And speaking of control deck, number 3, Trundle Tryndamere. So we've seen a shift from Trundle Tryndamere, SI for Freljord. It's moved away from the hard control style where you used to play like, you know, 3 Blight Ravine, 3 Avalanche, 2 Box, 3 Whale, stuff like that. And it's now transformed more into this like combo style deck. Meaning you play a bunch of ramp, you play 3 faces of the old one, 3 catalysts. Some people play up to 2 voices of the old one. And you're just this like hyper ramp deck that you're essentially just trying to combo off and kill your opponent on turn 7. So you sacrifice early tempo with things like Faces of the Old Ones and Catalysts of the Aeons in order to get your big 8 drops and 10 drops down on turn, 6 and 7 and stuff like that. Usually if you can just get like 1 or 2 ramp cards off, you'll be winning the game because you get to play, like turn 8 She Who Wonders, turn 6, or turn 7 Feel the Rush, up to turn 6 Feel the Rush. So you can be casting these like really large spells and units way faster than you're supposed to be playing them. It'll kind of just win you the game sometimes. And number 4, the last looks like, super standard meta deck is Pirates. So this still plays the 2 Gangplank. A lot of decks have moved to just 3 Misfortune and 3 Twisted Fate, which that's personally the version I'm running. And yeah, you're just on a bunch of 1-drop, bunch of burn. This deck is really good into the Azir Zareth, but is not very good into Trundle Tryndamere. However, the SI Freljord decks with Trundle Tryndamere have gotten a lot easier for you to beat because they've taken away a lot of their removal spells. For instance, the best performing deck here is only on 2 Avalanche and 1 Withering Wail, 0 box, right? So they're removed a lot of their mass board wipes. You're usually doing pretty good if you're Pirates and you're a big Swarm board, and all they have to play around is like, a couple Blighted Ravines. That's really easy for you to do when you're Pirates. So Pirates really good. Pirates is going to struggle into a lot of the mid-range decks though. Not specifically Pantheon, because Pantheon is one of the few mid-range decks that only play like, 1 or 2 units. But a lot of decks like the Actual Blanc, the Elite, anything that plays a bunch of units very early, and then their units are just going to be bigger than yours, is going to be kind of a problem to deal with. Kind of like, the Thresh and Nasus, stuff like that. Alright, number 5. So it looks like 5 through 8 are all newer decks. And they all have, pretty decent win rates outside of Akshan, Udyr. Still, win rate isn't very great, but I'm sure it's just people learning how to play the deck. Also mentioned, by the way, SI Freljord and Pirates both have insane win rates at 58%. And I was going to comment how these are like extremely high win rates. And then we just casually have Pantheon coming in here with a 60% win rate. So Pantheon extremely busted. They went down on Rally, so this only plays 1 Golden Ages. But instead, they're going all in on the like triple Cataclysm game plan and just the better mid-range package with the more utility as far as units go. With the like, Petricite Broadwing, some are playing the Blinded Mystic, stuff like that. And you're just taking away the rallies for the, better spells. Some people started playing Taric because of the new cast target change. If you target Taric, leveled up Taric with or not even leveled up, if you just target Taric with a fast speed spell, then it will burst speed target the supported unit. This means that if you target Taric with something like an Unyielding Spirit, then it will, at burst speed, give the supported ally Unyielding Spirit. Because it doesn't need the spell to resolve anymore thanks to the new play cast change, which is absolutely absurd. So I don't know if more people are going to switch over to that Taric version or if we're going to keep on Yuumi. But either way, this is an extremely strong deck right now. And right now, I'm playing 2 decks to climb the ladder. I'm either playing Pantheon or I'm playing a Jayce Lux deck. So these are my go-to decks. I personally play the Taric version. My version's a little bit different than this. But obviously, I don't have the insane, what's this guy have? 80% win rate, right? That this person has on the deck. So they're probably doing something right. The deck's probably built correctly, if I had to guess. Number 6 is Elise Vi Jayce. So Jayce, another card that got buffed up by the play cast change. You no longer need the first 6 cost spells to resolve for Jayce to level. You just have to play them. So for instance, if you play Assembly Line and it gets countered, you don't care. If you play Piercing Darkness or whatever and it gets countered, you don't care. Because you just need to actually play them, and then it will level your Jayce. And then after that, Jayce will double any spell played anyways, just like he used to do. So Jayce, big, got buffed from the play change. So this is more of like a... I've seen this Elise Vi Jayce deck played 2 ways. I've seen it played this way, which is very more control, where you're on the triple Vengeance, the double Piercing Darkness play, with like triple Vile Fee, stuff like that. I've also seen it played in a more aggressive variant, where you get to play... more burn spells. So you play like Doom Beast, you play some Aftershocks, some Get Excited, stuff like that. And you're just very much just like a fearsome aggro deck with the, Sentinels here. You're fearsome aggro with burn spells over the top with things like the Aftershock, the Shock Blast, the Mystic Shots, the Get Excited, stuff like that. So really, it depends on which variant you want to play. I think the control version is going to be better at the moment with how much aggro is running around, with things like Pirates being very prevalent in the meta. You really want to make sure you can kill off the mana ramp cards from Trundle Tryndamere. Like, you want to be able to, you can deal 3 damage to faces of the old one. So Thermogen, extremely important. You want to ideally be able to kill off one of the one big Pantheon unit they have with something like the Vengeance, like the Thermogen, Piercing Darkness on turn 3. So there's a lot of important things in the control variant that you need at the moment in the current meta. But if the meta ever gets super slow and it's too slow for this deck to keep up, you immediately can just switch over to the Fearsome Aggro version, and this deck is just as good. Number 7, Jayce Lux. So this is the deck I've been playing. Pretty similar, not the exact copy of the deck I've been playing. So I've actually been playing a deck created by Dave Bo on Twitter, where it's very much a 4 Demacia. It's supposed to abuse 4 Demacia and Rally. So the way it works is typically to get 4 Demacia and Rally on the same turn, you have to wait until turn 7, because turn 7 is when you get 10 spell mana, right? So you can go 4 Demacia for 6 mana, attack, Rally for the last 4. Well, the version I'm playing can do that actually on turn 6 now, thanks to Forge of Tomorrow. So you play 4 Demacia, it only costs 3 mana, thanks to the 4 Tomorrow. So on turn 6, you still have 6 mana left over afterwards, so you can still do a Sharp Sight, a Mystic Shot, some sort of single combat spell, and have Rally left over. There's some crazy scenarios where if you have Forge Chiefs in the mix as well, you can even like double Rally. I've done that before, where I've gone 4 Demacia, attack, Rally, attack, and then Forge. I have double Forge Chief, and it gives me 2 more spell mana, and it's just kind of silly from that point. Because I get double Rally with 4 Demacia, and obviously the game was just over. This deck's really insane. I actually have a deck video of this deck going out tomorrow, where I went, I think it was like 15-0 or 16-0 on it. So deck was absolutely bonkers. So this is the deck I've been playing in ladder the most, paired with a little bit of Pantheon. So very excited to see that this is getting the play rate as decently high win rate with 56%. Again, I want to show you guys how to play the deck, so I have a deck guide coming out tomorrow. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. And if you guys are interested in any deck guides for any of the new decks, make sure to comment down below, because that's my best way to get feedback from you all. And that way I can go ahead and make a deck guide on them, or at the very least show you guys some gameplay of the deck. So, so that way you guys can see how the deck and stuff functions. So the last deck here in top 8, the very popular deck, is Udyr Akshan with Howling Abyss and Siphoning Strike. I think this deck's just kind of funny. I don't think this deck is very competitive, but I do think Udyr Akshan is good. I don't think the Howling Abyss Siphoning Strike version is necessarily great. It's probably just a little bit more funny than anything. But for those of you that don't know how the interaction works, a Siphoning Strike says, an ally strikes a unit. If it dies, grant allied champions everywhere +2/+2. And everywhere meaning even generated champions. So even champions off of Howling Abyss will get +2/+2. So you'll get a leveled champion from Howling Abyss that will, and then gain +2/+2, which can lead to some stupid broken things. Like you'll get, like 4/6 Ezreals. You'll get, 8/5 or 8/7 leveled up Gangplanks. You just get a bunch of crazy shit. You have Freljord and Shurima to have a bunch of combat tricks. You see here you have the Troll Champ, Flash Freeze, Quicksand, 3 Sisters, Shapestone, a bunch of ways to make sure your units stay alive and kind of just hyper level your units. Take board control, play Howling Abyss, Siphoning Strike is there just for a little bit of icing on the cake, where if you need it, you can really outgrind just about any mid-range deck with it. You can outgrind any control deck with it. So I think this deck is really funny. I do think there is going to be a good Udyr deck. I think Udyr Victor has been really good. I think Udyr Akshan with less troll cards like Howling Abyss and Siphoning Strike have been doing really good. I've seen Udyr Ashe been doing really good. So I'm really excited to see where Udyr lands. I know Udyr on release was extremely underwhelming, and a lot of people were not happy with it. So the fact that they kind of, changed him around, and really change his identity and his level up condition and everything makes me very excited for him, and I just can't wait to see once they fix all the bugs how he pans out and what deck he ends up being in. But that's going to be it for the Meta Monday for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know in the comments down below what videos you want to see this week, what videos you want to see, like what decks you want to see played, as well as what decks are you guys using to climb ladder. Are you using one of these top 8 decks to climb ladder? Or are you using something on your own, something that's maybe lesser known? You can put it out there. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.